Yep, Rod Skelton from Christchurch. Been with Jim's Mowing since 1996. Started off as a franchisee for 2 years before becoming franchisor. And I've obviously been with the business since and watched it grow exponentially, and it's been a real interesting process. I used to work in repairing office equipment, totally different. Doing a bit of sales there as well, so that's helped me along the way with talking to franchisee prospects and stuff. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, although it has been tough sometimes, but it's been a lot of reasons beyond our control, like the economy and things like that makes a huge difference to the business. So yeah, no, we really enjoyed it so far. Good question. I was actually at a school reunion meeting, and one of my ex-school friends was telling me he was looking at going to lawn mowing, and I said, "Oh, you're nuts! What? How are you going to make any money out of that?" And anyway, it must have just gone somewhere in my mind, and I thought about it, and then next thing the ad popped up in the newspaper for Jim's Mowing, and I thought, I mentioned my wife Sandy, and she said, "You don't like gardening?" I said, "No, but if you're getting paid for it, it's different." And so yeah, we ended up applying and went and saw the local franchisors at the time, and yeah, decided to have a go. Being the first franchisee in the region was challenging at times, but also exciting. So yeah, it was something I needed. I hear a lot of that sort of stories from prospective franchisees now. I've had ex-bank managers, police officers, all sorts of people, and they just want to change. And a lot of people find this a reasonable thing to do, and they can earn some good money if they work hard. We did it here with the franchisor. At the time, there was no training as such set up in Melbourne. We're going back to the dark ages anyway. So yeah, it was all done here, and mostly hands-on. Learn the hard way, which is excellent. No worries.
And so you took on the franchisor role after 2 years. So do you want to tell people who don't know what a franchisor is? What is a franchisor and what do you do?
Okay, franchisor is, I don't like to call myself a boss because I'm not. All the guys are self-employed, but we're here just to help the franchisees through their business. Any hiccups they get, any questions, they can come to us. We look after all their accounts and stuff, and we look after them for as far as their accounting goes. If they've got any questions, we can usually help with that, or pass them on to companies like Mowing or Xero. But the other thing that I find very, very good, it's the supporting of the franchisees. They'll come to me with questions, technical questions about what they should do with this job and what they should do with that job. So I've learnt over the years of different products and things to use that are effective, and I can pass that knowledge on, which is, seems to go down pretty well. So our main job is support. A lot of people come to me and they'll go, "Oh, I'm looking at buying a business, but I'm a bit frightened." And part of our job is to take the fear out of it and say, "Well, okay, we're here. Ring me anytime, and we'll help you through it." We've had every scenario you can think of, and we've found a way through it. So that's our main thing, is support for the guys. Well, the first misconception is they think I'm their boss, so I've got to get that out of their head. But obviously one of the main things they ask about is income. Are they going to make enough money to cover their expenses and their mortgages and whatever? So we go through all that. How do they do jobs? As I said, a lot of guys come to us that are not in this industry at all. So we've got to train them. We provide training sessions for specific jobs, like rose pruning is a big thing in Christchurch. And also there to go and help them do any work they're not sure about. Yep. Paid for work is at a set rate, and it's another way for us to keep in touch with franchisees, especially the new ones. They work their normal week. I usually talk to them on a Wednesday, see how they're going financially, and if they haven't made the the work availability guarantee limit, then we'll give them permission to go and do promotional work, and they can do that work to make up to the whatever the limit is. It works pretty well. Having said that, 80% of my guys have never claimed it. They've usually got too much work to do. There are conditions to the payment of the guarantee. It's not just you can't just sit at home and expect us to pay you for doing that. So they've got to meet those conditions before it's paid.
Yeah, and I think we need to get across is it's designed to help them to build their business. It's not just free money, but you're doing it to help them build it. Yeah.
So they'll go out and they'll do promotional work, go and approach clients and just say, we're doing promotion in your street today, would you like your lawn mowed for free? All it will cost you is your signature. And a lot of people they're great, and they do that and they pick up some work from that, either regular or casual work. Other people will say, what's the catch? There's no catch. It's just I'm doing promotional work and away you go. And it's just this breaks the content, you just, once you get your foot on the gate, whether it be for promotional work or anything else, you can always find other work on that property that they may need doing. So it just leads to extra work all the time. We got so much work. We've got, last month, off the top of my head, I think we had 120 jobs that were allocated and 180 odd that went unserviced. So, but that's always been our case. We've never had a lack of work. So it's just a matter of getting enough people to handle the demand, which sometimes is difficult. A lot of our guys now are not taking any new work because they've got as much as they can handle. So we're always looking for new franchisees. 43 in total. Our region's from Timaru in the south to Nelson Blenheim in the north, so it's a big area to cover. Obviously the majority of those franchisees are based in Christchurch here. But we're always looking for more. We could potentially put on 10 franchisees today. We'd have enough work for them, and scattered around the area, around the region. There's probably 3 in Christchurch we need, and 2 in Nelson, sort of thing, 2 in Timaru. So it just keeps going and going. So it's just on the demand. I don't put franchisees in if there's no work. I mean, the last thing I want is them struggling. So we always make sure that there's enough work demand there before we put anybody anywhere. If there's a business for sale, existing one, I've always pushed that first, because the outgoing franchisee obviously wants to move on, and I believe quality sort of doesn't stay up there, if you know what I mean, with the guys, some of them that are leaving. So we've got to keep the quality up there. That's essential. So I always push those businesses first. However, if somebody comes to me and says, I haven't got 30 grand, but I can go 15 grand, then I offer them a new business, which is obviously cheaper to get into. And then we just go into our building mode and make sure they succeed, get them to training, make sure they've got all the right gear, and go from there. Yeah, we've got, off the top of my head, probably 8 that have got workers with them all the time. And they've built that up from nothing in some cases, from scratch. So they've done really well. And the whole thing in this thing is, it's all very well coming in and putting a uniform on and saying your gym's mowing, but you've got to be committed to it. And one of the key things that you've got to do is communication. And by that I mean with me, with my wife Sandy, with your clients, with head office at times if they need anything from there. Communication is the key to this business. If you can't communicate, then you're not going to succeed. And I always tell new prospects that they've got all the tools there. They've got to use them, and they'll be fine. I think one of the big things we need to make perfectly clear, is that it's up to them. They're pushing the mower. They're at the coalface. I'm here to help them as much as I can, but it's up to them to do the work. They're out there. So we give them all the tools, they've got to go and use them. One of the things I've heard feedback about independents is they've rung Joe Blow Mowing, and this guy's rocked up with an old trailer with corrugated sides on it, and it just looks terrible. He comes in, his shirt's all ripped, it's not even a uniform. He's not kept very tidily, and this person that was telling me about it said, I turned them away. I said, get off my property, I'm not having you here. And it ended up getting us in. So that's one thing. But the other thing is that the big thing is that clients have got somebody to go back to if there's an issue. They can ring us at any time. They'll get an answer. They'll get a real person answering the phone, not an answer phone, which is a big thing with a lot of people. They won't talk to answer phones. If they ring somebody and they get an answer phone, they'll just hang up. So that is massive as well. It's all part of little bits about building a successful business and a group name, really. I mean, Jim's, as I said earlier, is just huge in New Zealand, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which is awesome. And that all helps every division, not just mowing. So, but yeah, the most feedback I've had is rough jobs from independents because they know nobody's can do anything about it, or ripping them off price-wise. Even though we want to be paid top money, we will give you a top service. So that's the difference. A lot of people that come in on independent have got no idea what they're doing. So they've got no idea today, they've got no idea next week, and they're throwing money at it, and it's just not working. And the main reason for that, as I stated earlier, it's their appearance, their quality of work, and just their professionalism. If they haven't got that, they're not going to succeed. And they've got nowhere to go for help on that. Whereas Jim's, we've got all systems set up, we've got experienced people everywhere, and that's the difference. And if you come into us, we can say, okay, this is the category you fit into, this is what we're offering you. And you can steer them in that direction. Whereas if they go on their own, they're going to be rummaging around trying to do the job. If they have a vehicle breakdown, they've got nobody they can ring to go and do their work for them. It's just a no-brainer. And we're finding that these independents, they pop up all the time, but they go just as quick as they come. So they've always been there, and they always probably will be. And it's some of those people are probably people that have been denied a franchise contract for some reason. So, we've even heard of that. To me, it's security for the public, for the clients, and obviously for the franchisees. I mean, I'd like to say it's me and Sandy, but it's not. We're part of it, but we're very transparent in our business. We have always been that way, and we always let everybody know all the news as it comes in. We don't hold anything back. We're very easy to get on with. If there are any issues, we nail them straight away, so they don't fester or get worse. We have had our issues, but that's okay. That's part of being a business. But our guys generally are pretty happy with what they're doing, earning enough income. Like one of the guys you spoke to today, him and his wife go to China every other year. Well, you can't do that if you haven't got a decent income, So it's just one of those things. It's just something people will say to us, God, you guys never stop working. Well, you can't when you're in this business. You can officially be not here, but there's always my phone. That goes all hours of the day and night. So, and if I didn't answer it, then I'd start getting disgruntled franchisees. So I need to keep on that. They're all on a set rate. Obviously that alters through the years, the increases or whatever. So the majority of them pay a weekly amount. Currently at the moment it's 165 a week. And then over and above that they pay lead fees. But they don't pay for all leads that we send them, they only pay for 70%. 30% is allowed for the tyre kickers, the people that are going to ring every mowing company out there, and they've no intention of getting anything done. So anyway, our guys have full control of those leads. They can say, yes, I want work today or not tomorrow or whatever, and so they're in full control. A lot of our guys will budget for so many leads a month, and once they've got that number, they'll take themselves off new work. So that's fine, it works for them, it works for us, it's fine. I don't have any gripes about leads usually, or fees. It's actually quite interesting that new guys coming to me, some of them don't even ask you. Even though it's all in the information pack they get, they don't even want to clarify it or anything, they'll just go, oh, yeah, great. And away they go. So, they all realise that leads and fees are part of owning a business. There's always expenses that you've got to maintain for any business, so that's part of it. Monthly fees, if you like, covers a vast amount of product, if you like. Not only the brand, but it also covers their share of the marketing, which is very, very good. We find a lot of private people have trouble marketing successfully, and we get it from experience from other members of our gyms group. Various guys have got expertise in that realm, and we get that information and use it. We find marketing that works well, and that we use that. Anything that doesn't work well, obviously we don't invest in. We find that at the moment the internet is the biggest source of work for us, with I think over 50% of leads now coming from the internet. So we obviously push that a lot. Where in the old days we used to be in the yellow pages, which are now non-existent almost, and newspapers. Newspapers still a little bit okay, but a lot of it is internet stuff. And the other one is our trailers. Our trailers are mobile billboards. People get a tremendous amount of walk-up work from those. A lot of our customers like the fact that we're all insured, so if anything does go wrong, we're covered. They've got somewhere they can go back to if there is a problem. They can ring us, and we'll help them through any problems they might have. And the brand. The brand is the big thing. Gym's now been in Christchurch since 1996, as I mentioned, and it's known throughout the region. If you want your lawns mowed, ring Gym's. Which is a good and a bad thing. As I said before, we're getting more work than we can cope with.
Yeah, and how's it grown?
We've done everything you can. I mean, to build the name, apart from the obvious advertising, as we've mentioned, but we've done promotions at fairs and markets and stuff like that. We've just, when Jim's Dog Wash started in Christchurch, we all went to the market on a Sunday with dog wash trailers and did free dog washing all day. Which was interesting, and that was a huge promotion, for us. But yeah, that's probably the main thing we do. But the other thing is the name's always there. Like, we were one of the first mowing companies in Christchurch to go colour in the yellow pages and the newspapers, and it just throws your name out. And we're still here, after 26 years or whatever it is. So we're not fly-by-nighters. People know us, they trust us. They've got to be committed to the job, and they've got to be good with, obviously, talking to people, and they've got to be self-motivated. I mean, I can't ring everybody every day and get them going and motivate them, but if they haven't got that, they're not going to succeed. As I've said several times, I'm not their boss, I'm their franchisor, so I try and keep them motivated as much as I can, and if anybody's got any issues, I'll work on them or with them to fix them. So it's all about communication and motivation. If you haven't got that, you're not going to succeed in any business, I believe. Okay, we offer obviously regular and casual mowing, commercial and domestic mowing, ride-on and push mowing. We've got several guys that have set up with ride-on mowers, so they do the big areas. So that's working pretty well. We also offer gardening, pruning, rubbish removal, gutter cleaning. That's about it. That's more than enough for us to handle. But again, we insist really that guys know what they're doing. If they don't know what a weed is, we don't send them to a gardening job, unless they've been trained. So we get them trained if they don't know. It's all about providing a service to the customers, and if you can't provide a top-notch service, we don't send you. Same with our system includes complaints. Okay, obviously we get complaints, we're dealing with the public, so you will get complaints. And I always look into those, and I always talk to the client, find out what's gone wrong, and if it's a training issue, then I'll get that franchisee back for further training on that problem. But anyway, that's what it's all about. If you can't provide a service and you're honest and trustworthy, you're not going to succeed. Okay, I'll get a notification of a complaint on my phone. My first step is to ring that client and have a talk to them, find out what's gone wrong, and then I'll say, okay, thank you, I'll get back to you, and then I'll ring the franchisee and talk to them, find out their side of the story. There's always two sides. And then I'll go back to the customer and explain what we're going to do. Okay, so ultimately the thing is to fix the problem if there is a problem. Okay, the complaints are handled very strictly, and they can't be deleted unless there's a very good reason, like something's been said that wasn't said or whatever. And really, Jim himself's the only one that can delete them. So he keeps a very close eye on them, and they're dealt with very seriously. If a franchisee gets more than enough complaints in the 6 monthly period, they will get a warning letter telling them that if they have further complaints in the next 6 months, they will be required to go to retraining at their expense. So it is something that is vital, and I think it sets us apart from some of the other companies around the place. I know one of the other major companies don't have a complaints procedure as such, so I think that's something that's very valuable in our business. The opportunity is huge. I mean, it's expanded exponentially since we were no one in 1996, and the opportunity's there. We know that, we can see that. Even though we've had a number of franchisees through the business already, there is still people wanting to do the work and still looking for that independence and work, being self-employed. Not only in Mowing, but other services that the group offers. That's growing rapidly as well throughout New Zealand, and I can only see it going forward, really can. There's one franchisee in particular that came to us. I can't remember what he did previously, but he wasn't anything to do with lawn mowing. He's been with us, one of our 20-year guys, and he started off quite small, just as a normal mowing franchisee. Very hard worker, conscientious, great with people, and he's built that business hugely. He has now got over $100,000 worth of equipment, with ride-on mowers and 7-metre long trailer to tow his stuff around on, and imported a truck from Japan just for the job and had it painted green. It's brilliant. He's probably one of the most successful guys that we have, and he's still going strong. So yeah, the potential's there if you want to do it, but you've got to use everything that we offer you. If you're not prepared to listen to what we're telling you, or listen to what the training people are telling you, you're wasting your time. Okay, the people, we've got to get it into their heads when they walk in that door for an interview. I just got to keep pumping away at them, saying, this is what you have to do. If you don't want to do this, see you later. And there have been people that I haven't offered contracts to, for the reasons that I just can't see them working. So after 20 odd years at it, I can pretty well pick who's going to be good and who's not. And I don't want to take somebody on that's not going to be any good. It's going to cost me money and anguish, and them, they're going to lose money. So it's a matter of just keeping the momentum going. Jim's group is very hot on training with franchisee, what they call franchisee induction training, and it's a good benefit, I believe. At the moment it's being held in Melbourne head office, but we've just recently set up a New Zealand training centre, which is brilliant, and that's going to be in Wellington. So it's essential that everybody does that. They all learn the same things. The training is not how to push a lawnmower around so much, it's how to run a business. So they pick up all sorts of skills there, and of all the guys that I've put through, they've all come back saying, yeah, they got a lot out of it, and they use it day in, day out. So yeah, not really. He's a strange man, to put it politely. You've got to give him his due. He's built a huge business, and he must be good at that. But yeah, he's the first to admit he's not a people person, but he's got people around him that do all that for him. So no, you've got to give him his due. He's contactable easily, even after hours or weekends or whatever. At times I've had to contact him, and he's always answered me. And he's always come up with a solution of one sort. So he's very good at what he does, and as I said before, he's got an excellent crew of people around him that look after the business for us. I mean, it's gone from him mowing his lawns when he was at university to what it is today. What are we in excess of 3,000 franchisees?
Nearly 5,000.
Well, I'm on times 5,000 franchisees. You got to give him his due. You got to give him credit. I think I'm a real people person. I love talking to people, and I love talking to people about Jim's mowing because I know it inside out. And that's probably the bit I enjoy most, is talking to the guys. I enjoy our meetings that we have. We have franchisee meetings every 6 to 8 weeks, and they're either live or on Zoom, and I enjoy doing those. And anybody that wants to listen to me, well, oh, great, I've got you. And I'll just talk to them all night about the franchise and the business. Most of it's technical stuff, like what lawn spray do I use for this, or what do I do, how do I do this job, whatever. But occasionally guys will come to me with private issues, and we'll obviously listen to them and talk them through it if we can, or send them on to professionals if necessary. They're currently being done every 2 weeks. That stays pretty much the same up until about June, and then they'll go back because of the colder weather. The growth isn't as much, and they usually come back on mid-August, somewhere around there. They're currently using what they call a Testarossa Castell Garden rotary mower, which is brilliant. 18-inch cut, single blade, huge catcher, so they catch a lot of grass, and they'll mow in the wet because they're plastic, they're not too heavy, they don't sink into the ground. So they've been the go-to mower for a few years, but unfortunately the manufacturers have stopped making them. They were made in Europe, but I'm not sure why, but they've stopped making them. So we're currently looking at different brands and makes and things to try and find something equivalent. So we're under that process at the moment. So they use that. They use, as far as their weed eaters go, they use Still mostly, I think, and Shindawa a little bit. Shindawa would probably be the Rolls Royce of weed eaters. But again, they're changing the marketplace out there because of buyouts of corporates and stuff. So yeah, they're the main brands they use. I always say to the guys that if you've got to buy equipment, buy good stuff. Don't go buy something cheap, because you'll be buying it again in 3 months. So you're better off to spend the money and get something worth having. Our guys' equipment do more work in a week than the homeowner will do in 10 years. So they've got to be good. They've got to have. I'm not really big on goals, but you've got to have goals, okay, whether it be financial or personal, and they help as far as working for yourself. You've got to use the resources you've got, and you've got to be prepared to listen to people and take control, okay, and maintain control. And if you need to use us to help you maintain control, that's fine. Give me a call. As I said before, I'll come talk to you about the business anytime you like. So the thing is, and you've got to be a little bit disciplined on your income. A lot of people will come to me and go, "Oh, geez, I've never earned so much money. I was on wages, I was on $700 a week, and now I'm doing $1,500 a week. It's great. I'm going to go and buy a new boat." Don't do that. You've got to maintain your discipline on your income. Talk to accountants. That's their job. But I also say to guys, there's no. But I have had a lot of that. Okay, the potential is one guy can turn over $100,000 a year, which is massive. I mean, that's somebody who is switched on, real good, real confident in what he does, and confident, and they can do that. In New Zealand, the GST threshold is 62,000 turnover. So I use that as a key point of what we're aiming to get to. So I always pump guys up to that. A majority of the guys do over that, so they're all registered for GST. Obviously when they start they might not be, because their income will be lower. But we just build and build and build. But the average income with my guys is $70,000 to $80,000 turnover. So it's all about lifestyle. It's some of the things that guys will come to me with. Prospects coming in, they'll go, "Oh, I'm sick of working 50 plus hours a week. I'm a boss, I get nothing, all I get is grief." Well, okay, take this on, work as many hours a week as you want. If you want time off with your family, take it. If you want to pick your kids up from school, pick them up. I got a lot of guys that do that. One that came today, he works school hours, and he's finding it great, successful. He takes the kids to school, he picks them up after school, he's home with them after school. So yeah, he's enjoying it. So you can do that. You can adjust the business to suit your needs. We have done a few. Yep. Guys have got to a level where they just want to slow down a bit, and so they'll sell off 30, 40, 50 mows, and we can split their territory in half, which is something. It's a good way if you've got no other businesses for sale, and then I'll ask the guys if they want to split, just so I've got that option for new people coming in. They can either buy an existing business or a new one. Probably the biggest thing in our line of business is it's flat. Well, the majority of it is. And it's fairly well spread out. not too many narrow streets in that. We were talking to a guy earlier about parking. Right in the middle of town, it can be difficult, especially if you've got a trailer on. And some of the sections in Christchurch tend to be a bit bigger than normal, although they are getting smaller now, cramming more homes in. But the old quarter acre used to be the go in Christchurch or Canterbury, and that's a big section. So yeah, that's the main thing about it. The people are great, weather's not too bad, seasonal, but hey, it's okay. Yeah, so no, it's a good place to live. They can go to our website, jimsmowing.co.nz, or phone 0800 454 654, and the operators will take your details and we'll get back to you. The information is sent out to me. I will action it straight away. As soon as I get it, I'll ring you and just have a quick chat to you on the phone. Arrange to send some information to you via email, and then we'll follow up a week later to make sure you got that email and any questions or queries you might have. Then we offer the trial day. We tell them all about the training and any other questions that crop up. Obviously there's a lot of questions when you're buying a business, so we've got to have all those answers for them, so we make sure that's all looked after.